Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with My Villain Academia. Last time on My Villain Academia, we had Revival Party, where the League of Villains made it to Deka City to face the Metal Liberation Army in battle, and sure enough, a battle ensued. Everyone's dealing with other people. Dabi is currently fighting a guy who can control ice. Spinner... He's just kind of there. Mr. Compress is also kind of there. They weren't really doing anything specific, but I don't know. Shigaraki had a flashback to something from his childhood. However, it was an incomplete flashback, and it was kind of frustrating for him. Which was actually kind of funny, honestly. Him just complaining. I was like, if you're going to show me something, show me the whole thing. And then also his powers have gotten stronger because he can touch one dude and then just obliterate like 50 people. So... there's that. Toga was being attacked by a journalist who could blow things up, and then her quirk evolved to where she can not only copy a person's appearance, but copy their quirk as well. And so she copied Ochako's quirk, and then used it to float a bunch of people up, and then drop them down in a rain of blood. Then Twice went over and got to Toga. However, this really lanky Edna Mode looking dude sent in a bunch of other clones of Twice to attack him, and they're going to try to persuade Twice to join the army so that they can use his power to keep Re-Destro alive. And in all of this, we're also still waiting for Gigantomachia to show up and just fuck things up, I guess. So, yeah. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of My Villain Academia. Here we go. Alrighty. Well, that was not really a downer, I will say. I guess last episode wasn't really a downer either, but I don't know. There's something weirdly inspiring about Twice overcoming his trauma and making a fucking million of him. Yeah. Alright. Cool. So, first off, going into the notes, we had a bit of Twice's origin, which was interesting. Which we had heard, the whole thing about the conflict with all of, hymns. But yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing, man. A lot of these stories can really be boiled down to fucking people, man. I don't know if that's what we're going to get with Shigaraki. I don't think that's... I think for him, the problem is, A, quirk, B, all for one, Whereas everyone else, like Toga, it's like fucking people, man. Now, granted, yes, she was trying to drink the blood of her classmates, but it could have tried to have worked. Like, you could, I kind of tried to say this last episode, but you can work. It'd be extremely difficult, but you could try to make that work for her, Her parents would have had they would have had their work cut out for her, but could have worked. But I mean, that's kind of what the journalist was saying last episode for Toga. So, fucking people, man. And sure enough, for Twice, fucking people, man. It's, from what it sounds like, it was a complete accident that he hit this executive guy, Like, it was this complete accident. But I guess, he wasn't sorry about it. Like, he didn't really care. But yeah, it sounded like a complete accident. This guy's just being a fucking asshole, And then you get the whole thing with Destro. And again, it's just fucking people, man, But yeah, Twice, hey, his arm broke. Which means, yep, he is the original. I love that. How long have we had this guy? Since top of season 3, during the attack on the training camp. Yeah, pretty much since then. And Yeah, he has not been sure for so long if he's the original or not, but sure enough, he is the original. So he overcame his trauma and created an army, the Sad Man's Parade. Honestly, I really like that. I like that. He overcame his trauma. Good for him. Honestly, this whole battle is the League of Villains leveling up, you know? Toga's quirk leveling up, Shigaraki getting so much stronger, even just from fighting Gigantomachia. And then, yeah, same thing is going for twice. He overcame his trauma and made this entire army of stupid people, you know? I love how they're all still goofy, you know? Like, that's just hilarious. You know, like, every time, like, a bunch of them get destroyed, all the others are like, no, me's, and you just hear that voice, like, 1,000 times, like, that had to have been, like, a really fun thing to do in the vocal booth, I imagine, you know? So, that was really funny, I like that. But yeah, just the Sad Man's Parade, really good. We have the whole thing with, what was it, Meten, the ice guy, who can also control the temperature, and so he freezes the water in the pipes into ice. I keep thinking we're gonna have, like, this big confrontation between, like, this actual epic battle between him and Dabi, but we're not really getting that, and now, you know, the Doctor has awoken Gigantomachia, so, and they said, you know, the ice guy is exactly who they need to fight Gigantomachia, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, Machia has been awoken early, and he is now on his way to Deka City to face the ice guy, Meten. It's also interesting, they do at least point out, though, because we've never seen any sort of weaknesses for Dabi. I almost said Darby. No, that's the name of 2 villains on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. B, that's the name of my dog. So, no, Dabi, excuse me. Anyway, so we've never really seen any weaknesses for him. But I like how they say, you know, his kind of like under the flesh he has like sewn on, it's starting to burn, you know? So, I mean, it definitely makes sense for, you know, this guy who has a fire quirk to have essentially the same weakness that Endeavor has, you know? Now, on the theory that Dabi is actually Toya Todoroki, we have said that before, and Endeavor said, you know, he tried teaching Toya the Flash Fire Fist, but he just couldn't handle it, you know? Like, he said, like, he was almost there. He had the firepower, but he wasn't sturdy enough, basically. He said he had his mother's weak constitution. So maybe that's it. I mean, Dabi, who hasn't really been challenged that much because of how powerful his fire is, you know? So it's entirely possible now that he is being challenged. Yeah, this is starting, if he is Toya Todoroki, this is starting to come back and bite him, you know? His firepower, you would assume, is stronger than Endeavor's, if only because his firepower is blue. Although Azula had blue fire, and she wasn't stronger than Ozai, so I guess there's that. But yeah, maybe his fire is just more potent. But, I mean, if he has this incredible firepower, yeah, he doesn't have a cooling system. Neither did Endeavor, which was the purpose of creating Shoto. So, yeah, we don't know. I mean, even if he's not Toya Todoroki, the same rules should honestly apply. He doesn't have a cooling system, you know? So yeah, that's pretty difficult. We get a bit of Re-Destro's quirk, or meta ability. So that's why they call them meta abilities and not quirks, because they're completely going against all of this. But his meta ability is a giant-ass gross hand. You know what? I kind of like that both of the bosses of these groups have their quirks have something to do with hands, you know? Re-Destro grows this gigant-ass hand, and Shigaraki... First off, Shigaraki has hands all over his body, but his hands is where his decay comes in, you know? So yeah, that was interesting. I want, like... I'm assuming next episode we're going to get like a full, Present Mike details his quirk, which will be hilarious because correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this guy voicing Present Mike? Oh, was that right? Or is it just that, I don't know. I know we've looked up Re-Destro and he is Present Mike, but now I honestly can't remember because I know they had to switch actors for Present Mike somewhere along the line. So I wonder if... I don't know. Let me see. Re-Destro. If I could spell voice correctly. Voice actor. Re-Destro. Sunny Straits. I know he voices Krillin in Dragon Ball, but has he always... I don't know if he's the current voice of Present Mike. So, let me see. Friend, where is it? Okay. All it says is Present Mike. Maybe I can... Hold on. Don't look at anything else. Don't look at anything else. Okay. Okay, well, I went to Sunny Straits' Wikipedia page instead. Okay. Oh, okay, interesting. So, Sunny Strait, he originally played Present Mike, but he was replaced. He was replaced as Present Mike due to health, but now he's back as Re-Destro. Well, that's pretty cool, I must say. That's nice they brought him back as a different character. Well, see, now it's going to be hilarious. Now it's going to be hilarious if we have new Present Mike, giving the quirk overview of Re-Destro. That's pretty cool that they brought him back for something, That's really nice. So, I know, like, a couple voices changed. Like, I think Recovery Girl changed between Season 1 and Season 2. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did Aizawa change between Season 1 and Season 2? There was, like, a bit of a shakeup in actors, in some of the voice actors in the early seasons of MHA, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the very least we know Present Mike. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that was really interesting, just seeing his quirk. And then we got more backstory on Destro, which was interesting, the original Destro, where that's a very interesting story, just the whole thing of his mother wanting, her son to be free in this world, but people laughed, and she ended up dying. She was killed by people without meta powers. It does make me wonder what Destro's quirk was, though, or meta ability. But yeah, she proposed the idea of changing... She was the one who came up with calling meta abilities quirks. I also like that Shigaraki points that out, too. Even though he's apparently had no formal education, so I like that. Shigaraki knows his shit, not just about gaming, so... But she was the one who came up with the term quirks. And then later, when more and more people started getting powers, the government tried to make it normal. Now, the interesting thing about, what this kind of just boils down to? Almost feels like a whole Second Amendment thing, Which is interesting because, this is Japan we're talking about. But the whole thing of, suppressing meta abilities. Now they can't use their meta. They can live, they can exist, but they can't use their meta abilities and stuff. And it's like, well, there do still have to be rules. You can't just use it whenever the fuck you want, But for the most part, people are fine, People are fine with, like, you don't see Inko Midoriya being like, I need to use my meta ability whenever I want. But granted, she does have a less... Her quirk specifically, just being able to float things to her, that's basically it, It doesn't really matter, but she can't go and use that in order, like for instance, honestly, I guess she could use her quirk to like pickpocket people, you know? What if she did that? Oh my god, what if we found out Inca Midoriya was a fucking like a New York thief back in the day when she was like a little girl? That'd be fucking hilarious if she was a fucking pickpocket. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why that'd be funny, you know? Maybe just because she's, you know, average anime mother, so that'd be funny. But anyway. But yeah, but like that's the whole thing, is that, you know, there do still have to be rules. You can't just use your quirk whenever, like, you can't use your quirk against people, basically. Like, I guess that's basically it, but the Liberation Army is like, oh, you know, it really is a Second Amendment thing, isn't it, you know? Where it's like, oh, well, we should have, you know, guns, whatever guns we want, and it's like, well, take a step back. That's a little crazy. You can't really do that. And, I mean, it is honestly the same thing of, this is honestly an evolution from the whole thing with Hero Killer Stain, where with Stain, that whole thing was, you know, you can't, none of them were licensed, so they didn't have the authority to fight Stain, and you really couldn't claim self-defense or anything. And I know Japanese laws are more stricter than American laws on that, so there wasn't really any good excuse or loophole into doing that, but they lucked out that the police chief was so understanding, you know. It's like, look, it is the Hero Killer Stain, so, like, officially they should be punished and stuff, but, you know, they're letting it slide because of the circumstances. But it's sort of the same here, you know. They say it's like, well, it's suppressing, you know, meta abilities and stuff, and it's like, well, there does still have to be rules, there have to be laws, there has to be order. Your quirks, yes, while they are a part of you, you really have to be careful about, like, you know, because there are rules against just getting in your car and running over people, you know? If you just do that, that's against the law. If you do that with your quirk, it should be no different. So it's interesting to see, like, you can understand where the Liberation Army is coming from, but at the same time, they're taking this to the extreme, you know? They're taking this to the extreme. Like, when you're living your everyday life, there are plenty of opportunities to use your quirk, you know? Again, if Inko Midoriya wants to just, you know, grab something, you know, from, she wants to, you know, bring the TV remote or something to her, she can. If Endeavor, you know, if Endeavor wants to just, you know, use his quirk to, you know, boil some water, he can. If Rei, you know, Rei Todoroki, who's not a hero, she needed to cool something down, like say she was out and about and it was too hot, there shouldn't be anything against, you know, just creating a little ice on her to cool down. But there is a limit. There has to be a limit, like there's a limit on literally everything else. That's what the fucking laws are there to do, you know? So it's one of those things where you do understand the Liberation Army, but at the same time you cannot take it that far. So yeah. And of course Shigaraki's just there where it's like, who fucking cares? I'm just trying to destroy shit. But yeah. And then at the end we did get our tease of a boss fight. That was really, really good. I really liked that the clone of Shigaraki saw that the original was down there and then swung back into pretty much to distract Re-Destro, and then make sure that Twice knew what was about to happen, you know? And then, yeah, Shigaraki just went and brought that entire building down. That is fucking crazy. So, yeah. Next time, boss fight. Final boss. Boss fight between the boss of the League of Villains and the boss of the Metal Liberation Army. I want to see Shigaraki in a true blue fight, you know? We've seen plenty of that from Deku and the other heroes and stuff, but I want to see Shigaraki in a true one-on-one fight. So, that's going to be really, really cool. But yeah, honestly, with this whole thing of the Sadman's Parade, we've really taken a turn on this battle. Like, the tables have turned. Oh, how the turntables, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. very interested to see where we are going in the next one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Villain Academia reactions, as well as another video you can click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.